Deep questions reveal what small talk hides. Most men ask women questions that get polite answers. Then they wonder why the connection never grows. But the right question? It changes everything. Because attraction is not built through talking more. It is built through making someone feel understood. And almost no man knows how to do that. A woman can spend hours answering surface-level questions. What do you do? Where are you from? What are your hobbies? Safe. Predictable. Forgettable. But then one man asks a question that touches something deeper. And suddenly she starts talking differently. Her voice changes. Her energy shifts. Her guard drops. That is where real connection begins. Not because you impressed her. Because you made her feel something. Most men chase attention. Smart men create emotional space. Huge difference. Imagine you're sitting across from a woman. The conversation is normal. Nothing special. Then you ask, what is something people misunderstand about you? Now she has to think. Not perform. Think. And that's powerful. Because people spend their whole lives wanting to be understood. Very few get the chance. The moment she starts explaining herself, she's no longer reciting facts. She's revealing identity. And identity creates connection. But it gets deeper. Ask her, what experience changed the way you see people? Watch carefully. This question bypasses scripts. It reaches memories. And memories carry emotion. Maybe she talks about betrayal. Maybe she talks about kindness. Maybe she talks about heartbreak. The answer matters. But her emotional investment matters even more. Here's what most men miss. Women don't remember every conversation. They remember how they felt during it. That's why emotional depth beats clever lines. Every time. Now let's go further. Ask, what do you wish more people understood about relationships? This question is dangerous. In a good way. Because her answer often reveals her deepest frustrations. Her expectations. Her fears. Her standards. And if you're paying attention, she'll tell you exactly who she is. Without realizing it. Most men are busy waiting for their turn to speak. The disciplined man listens. The disciplined man observes. And observation is power. Not manipulation. Awareness. There's another question that almost always creates tension. The good kind. Ask, what are you most proud of that nobody knows about? Notice what happens. People rarely get asked about hidden victories. Everyone talks about visible success. The job. The money. The achievements. But hidden victories? Those matter more. Maybe she overcame anxiety. Maybe she survived a difficult period. Maybe she rebuilt herself after losing everything. Suddenly you're no longer discussing information. You're discussing character. And character creates respect. Here's where most conversations fail. Men try too hard to be interesting. Instead of being interested. Read that again. Trying to impress creates pressure. Being curious creates connection. And connection always wins. Let's shift. Imagine she laughs often. Seems confident. Appears strong. Then you ask, what is something you're still trying to figure out about yourself? Silence. Then honesty. Because nobody has everything figured out. Not her. Not you. Not anyone. And when she shares uncertainty, she's showing trust. Trust is earned slowly. But moments like this accelerate it. Now here's a question that reveals emotional maturity fast. Ask, when was the last time you changed your mind about something important? This question exposes flexibility, growth, self-awareness. Some people evolve. Others stay stuck. The answer tells you everything. And the beautiful part? She feels seen instead of judged. That matters a lot. Most people walk around wearing masks. Strong, confident, independent, unbothered. But beneath every mask is a story. The right question uncovers it. Ask, what lesson took you the longest to learn? Watch her eyes. Because almost everyone has one. A lesson learned through pain, through mistakes, through regret. And pain creates depth. People who have suffered and grown become unforgettable. Now let's talk about attraction. Real attraction. Not the fake kind built on attention. The deeper kind built on emotional impact. When a woman feels safe enough to share something meaningful, she starts associating that feeling with the conversation. And the conversation with you. That's why emotional intelligence is attractive. Not because it sounds nice. Because it works. Ask, what kind of person instantly earns your respect? Most men focus on what women want. Few focus on what women respect. Big mistake. Respect creates lasting attraction. Attention does not. Her answer reveals values. And values predict behavior. Always. Here's another powerful one. Ask, what do you think people chase that doesn't actually make them happy? This question opens philosophy. Beliefs. Perspective. Life experience. And suddenly you're discussing meaning. Not weather. Not social media. Not boring routines. Meaning. People crave conversations like this. Even if they don't admit it. Now let's get uncomfortable. Because discomfort creates honesty. Ask, what fear has shaped your life the most? That question hits differently. Everyone has fears. Fear of rejection. Fear of abandonment. Fear of failure. Fear of being alone. And hidden fears often control visible behavior. Understanding someone's fear helps you understand their choices, their reactions, their boundaries, their patterns. Everything starts making sense. But here's the secret. The goal is not collecting answers. The goal is understanding people. Many men treat conversations like interviews. Wrong approach. A great conversation feels like discovery, not interrogation. That's why timing matters. Patience matters. Presence matters. The strongest men don't rush depth. They allow it. Think about that. Powerful men don't force connection. They create conditions where connection happens naturally. That's emotional control. And emotional control is rare. Ask, if you could talk to your younger self for 1 minute, what would you say? Almost everyone pauses. Because suddenly they're looking backward. At old mistakes. Old dreams. Old wounds. Old versions of themselves. And when someone shares that part of themselves, they're showing you something real. Reality creates intimacy. Pretending never does. Now imagine the conversation has already become meaningful. She's comfortable. open, engaged. Then ask, what is something you hope never changes about you? This question reveals identity, values, principles, the parts of herself she protects. And what people protect tells you what they love. Simple, yet powerful. Here's what many men don't realize. The best questions aren't clever. They're sincere. Women can feel the difference immediately. If you're asking questions just to impress her, she'll sense it. If you're asking because you're genuinely curious, she'll sense that too. Authenticity always wins. Eventually. Every single time. And then comes perhaps the most powerful question of all. The question almost nobody asks. Ask, what makes you feel truly understood? Let that sit. Because her answer reveals everything. How she wants to be loved. How she wants to be seen. How she wants to connect. And most importantly, what she rarely receives. That answer is worth more than 100 surface-level conversations. Because beneath confidence, beauty, success, and social media profiles, every person wants the same thing. To be understood. Not judged. Not fixed. Not controlled. Understood. The men who learn this become unforgettable. Not because they're louder. Not because they're richer. Not because they're more attractive. Because they make people feel something real. And in a world full of distractions, filters, and shallow conversations, real is rare. The next time you talk to a woman, stop trying to impress her. Stop chasing perfect lines. Stop performing. Instead, become curious. Become present. Ask better questions. Listen deeply. And pay attention to what most people miss. Because the strongest connections are never built through talking more. They're built through understanding more. And the man who understands that will always stand out from the crowd.